Hey guys, this is Oren Productions, aka 4673, and I am back in the next NaNoRenO game in the line. This is The Lady's Choice. I know next to nothing about this game, and I'm feeling a little under the weather, so please be kind to me and my slightly hoarse voice. I don't think you can hear it, it's more that talking is slightly straining. Not a lot, just a little. So I got a trusty cup of honey tea, and we're gonna play this game. I am very intrigued. I don't know anything about it really. By the way, I think we're at the long videos again, so that's something to be happy with. I think I'm gonna make this a bit long, the first part here, because I'm happy with the fact that they're long again, the videos. Yay! And yeah, let's go! I think it's an Otome-ish game, by the way. Oh well. My aunt once told me a lack of good society will drive the wits from any decent person. I smiled to myself, unsure if I have instead lost my wits for agreeing to return to society. But I could not avoid it for much longer. Arabella's pleas growing too insistent to ignore. And, as she has always been my closest friend, I did not just have the heart to deny her wishes. It has been many years since I last came to Bath, instead having kept to my own company at my family's estate. Last time I was in the society, it was a disaster. A disaster. It was a disaster I would rather not relive. Being so young, I did not understand a gentleman's intentions, and had unwittingly gotten myself entangled to him. When Arabella had congratulated me on the match, I'd realized my mistake straight away. I dealt with it by... Okay. So, this is some sort of, like, courting thing? This is a bit like building up our personality, I think. Pursuing his interest to someone better suited, telling him outright about the mistake, explaining how my few merits weren't going to be to his taste, explaining the situation to him privately. We're gonna be naively blunt. The next time we met, I told him straight about the mistake. He was rather taken aback by my abrupt explanation, but took the news with reserved politeness. Though I dealt with it as best as I could, the whole affair still managed to spread throughout town. I barely had a chance to walk down the street without hearing the whispers of gossip of those I passed. Arabella had remained by my side throughout, always so loyal in her friendship. With a gentle sigh, I clasped the handkerchief in my hand tighter, running my thumb over my name, which my mother had embellished onto it with such delicate needlework. Okay. We're very beautiful, I'll say that much. I love the art style. I haven't really looked that much into this game, but I know it's like a traditional art style, and I really love it. I love the noses. I have a weird thing for like noses. I don't know. I just love it when people can draw different noses. I talked about that in the Reflections from the River playthrough. Like, a nose defines a face so much. Alright, first name. We're gonna come up with a character. I'm thinking very hard right now. A name for a fancy lady such as ourselves. It needs to be something interesting, so not just Sophie. Sophie is a very common name used for that. I'm contemplating Clara, but I don't know. She does look like a Clara in a way, but nah. Faye. What about Faye? I love the name Faye, to be honest. That's such a nice name. I'm gonna go Faye. And her surname is going to be Goodwill. I don't know why, I just came up with that. I don't know if it's somewhere. You fret on us a little surly, Faye. Arabella lays a hand on my arm, and I shift my gaze onto her, smiling softly. I believe you'll enjoy returning far more than you suppose. Her smile turns into one of mischief, and society will enjoy your company far more than it may remember. Let us hope so. The road gradually smooths, announcing our arrival into town from the country roads. Oh, not so far until we reach the house. I expect Lord Goodwill's servants were surprised by the announcement of your staying in Bath. It has been a long time since my father sent word to the townhouse staff. I hope that it's not been too much a bother for them. They are, and I was probably most annoyed. Hope they're not too much of a bother to them. I pursed my lips at the thought of the sudden work they must have had at such a short notice. I hope it has not been too much of a bother for them to prepare the house. Arabella gives a light laugh. It's sweet of you to worry on their behalf, but I'm sure a bit of work will do them good. It's been such a long while since anyone from your family has left the country estate. I imagine talk of your return is the main topic of conversation. I can't help but stiffen at the thought. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip. Arabella leans out to look out of the window, a smile lighting her face. Ah, we're here. I stared at the house the last time I laid eyes on it, being so long ago. It has changed a little. Shall we go in, Faye? I cannot very well proceed before you go into your own house. She gives a chuckle and a smile in return, before eventually making my way inside. The art style reminds me a little of the... do you know the comic Plume? It's a webcomic. I can't remember the author, but it's like a webcomic. It's a Western comic. Fantasy Western comic. It's very good, and the art style reminded me of it a little. Before eventually making my way inside. As soon as we step inside, a somewhat familiar face steps into the foyer to greet us. Welcome home, Miss Goodwill. Johnson, a butler, has aged considerably since I last saw him. The once stout brunette man now turns into a slightly hunched gentleman with far more wrinkles than hair. This seems like very nice, but a little rude maybe too. Hello, Johnson, it's been too long. Give a small smile of greeting. Hello, Johnson, it's been far too long. Indeed it has. And this must be Miss Highsmith. It's Lady Ashburn now. His brow curved in surprise. I quite forgot your marriage. I apologize, Lady Ashburn. She waves away his apology. Do not turn so stuffy, Johnson. I hear the same girl as I always was, as if somewhat more grown now, as I can see. He states with a wry smile. You're not staying with Lord Ashburn. He passed away the year before last. When her voice trembles, I reach out and rest my hand on hers. I offer a small smile, and her pain dissipates, if only a little. You will wish to attend to your rooms before tea? Yes, thank you. He gives a small nod and begins to shuck out of our coats and hats. After settling ourselves and luggage into our rooms, we meet again for tea in the drawing room. I hope tonight's ball will be busy. A ball already? You really have forgotten society, haven't you? The ball tonight will open the season. She takes a sip of tea, staring at me over the brim of her teacup. Everyone will be in attendance, including us. Including us. Her lips curve into a secretive smile, and I frown slightly in curiosity. Why are you smiling so, Arabella? The question was obviously just the prompt she needed. She places down her cup so excitedly it rattles against the saucer. I believe I may soon be engaged. Engaged? My father has been in talks with another about a suitable partner. Is this why you were so insistent I joined this year? I did not want to enter into all of this alone, I admit. And you were there for me last marriage, even when no one else was. Your advice that this one is the only one I would care for. I understand. So, who is he? She shifts back in the seat, picking up her cup again. I cannot tell you yet, as much as I may wish. I do not want to talk of it without more certainty on the situation. So it's not settled. She shakes her head, then gives a small smile. But I have hopes it soon will be. I take a gulp of tea, unsure of how to respond. Not once had Arabella seemed keen on remarrying, having inherited both title and wealth from her former husband. I glance at her, studying the smile on her face. It seems genuine. I did not know you were in the market for someone new. You do not need a husband to secure your place in society any longer, Arabella. Of course I do not need a husband, but that does not mean I do not wish for someone to share my life with. I give a nod of understanding. Maybe you will meet someone of your liking tonight, Faye. Society has so much changed since the last time you were here. I looked at her unsurely, my nerves already on edge about tonight's ball. That evening we arrived at the already bustling assembly room for the opening ball of the season. Oh, how wonderful! So many here already! I nod in agreement. There are certainly so many. The assembly rooms are large, but seem positively tiny when packed with so many people. The heat is stifling, and I do my best to stand in the way of the doors, hoping for the coolness of a draft. There is Lady Steer, and Arabella points through the crowd, but I cannot pick out one person from the mass. I must ask how she's been. I shall return in but a moment. Before I can protest, she is swallowed up by the crowd, and I am left standing alone at the edge of the room. Excuse me. I turn around to see a young woman smiling at me. I realize we may not yet have been introduced, but I saw you speaking to Lady Ashburn, and I simply had to know you. I'm Miss Claire Witter. She bops a small courtesy. A bold introduction, Miss Witter, and I am pleased for it. That is quite a bold introduction, Miss Witter, and I am pleased for it. I drop into a small courtesy myself. I am Miss Fay Goodwill. You are Miss Goodwill? My mother has spoken of your return. Have you truly not been to town for so long? I started a little at the abruptness of the question. Miss Witter is obviously a lot younger than her age would suggest. It has been quite some time, yes. Then you must simply be desperate for enjoyment. How dull it must have been in the country. I barely have time to open my mouth before she speaks again. Come on, we must dance. I have a partner waiting for me, but we shall find you someone too. She takes my hand and tucks me to one side. Oh, Mr. Amsbury! I glance up to search out the person she has called. Mr. Amsbury! She raises her voice to be heard over the din of people. I finally manage to free my fingers from my excited grasp. Can I help you, Miss Witter? A rather jovial voice asks from the sea of people. I glance up to meet eyes with handsome, youthful face, framed by thick locks of blonde curls. Lawrence, this is Miss Fay Goodwill, and she is without partner for this dance. I cannot help my cheeks from heating at the forward nature of the young woman. I apologize. I would be most happy to rectify the situation, Miss Goodwill. Before I can speak my apology, Miss Amsbury holds out a hand towards me. You can't see, but I'm like turning my head ever so slightly, wondering if I should go for a dance with this man. Fuck it. Thank you, Miss Amsbury. He gives a wide smile as I place my hand gently into his, and we make our way towards the other partners are lining up for dance. When the music begins, the line of ladies take a wide step forward, the men then do the same to meet in the middle. I take Mr. Ansbury's hand again, and we walk in unison down the middle of the room. You should not be offended by... I forgot his voice already. Brilliant. You should not be offended by Miss Wither's forward manners, Miss Goodwill. Her parents have rather indulgent in her, and she has little worry of upsetting the rules. So I could tell. If only more were of her disposition, wouldn't you agree? We part for a moment, taking a turn about another set of partners before meeting once again. It is nice to meet people so cheerful, at least. I give a nod to his previous statement. It is nice to meet people so cheerful that one benefits of not always following what is expected. Indeed. If we were to follow every rule and constraint placed on us, I believe there would be no reason to have a smile. He gives a cheerful laugh that continues to echo even as we change partners for a few big beats. When we return, he takes my hand and leads me around the outside of the floor, around the other partners. I hear you've been out of society for quite some time. I give a small nod. Then we are in similar situations, as I too has not been required to return to town for a few years. And yet you return now. I have had little choice. He frowns. His frown turns into a joking smile. You know how family can be without securing your lineage. I smile in understanding. Actually, I've been most lucky in that my family has never pushed me to pursue marriage. We draw together once more, the music slowly fading. Then consider yourself incredibly fortunate, Miss Goodwill. He offers a smile before bending at the waist in a low bow. It has been a pleasure. And with that he lets go of my hand, lets my hand drop before disappearing into the crowds. Thankfully, I'm not left alone for long, as Arabella finds me soon after. Faye, you must make haste and come this way. What has happened? Some military officers have been stationed in Bath for a few days, and have come for introductions tonight. They are simply so dashing I almost fainted where I stood. And what of your betrothed? He is not my betrothed yet. I would have blushed from her words if I had not grown used to them years ago. She led me to one side of the room where a swath of young women had taken up. Arabella pays them little mind, and she squeezes through them with practised elegance. Finally we come to a stop before a tall uniformed man. It is hard not to find the sight rather pleasing. Colonel Foxley? The sound of her voice, the man's face lights into a bright smile. Lady Oh God, voice. Lady Ashburn. Oh God, I can't voice this. What the... I would be most pleased to introduce you to my closest friend, Miss Faye Goodwill. He dips into a bow, and I drop into a small courtesy. It is most delightful to meet you, Lady Ash. Please, Colonel, Arabella will do just fine. But, Lady Ashburn... he's blushing. That's cute. What the fuck was that? I don't even know what that accent was. I'm sorry. He's blushing. That's cute. It is only a name, Colonel. Oh, Colonel? The Colonel clears his throat before continuing what he was saying. Arabella has been most kind in helping us find our way around. I am certain it is a task she takes very much to heart. The music ends with the next dance, and Arabella suddenly brightens. Oh, Colonel, did you not promise me the next dance? Indeed I did. Arabella moves forward to slip her arm around his. But what of Miss Goodwill? Oh, please do not miss out on the dance the voices, I'm fucking them up. Oh, please do not miss out on the dance on account of me. I'm most happy to observe. I would not dream of such. He turns around and scans the room before smiling and tapping another uniformed man on the shoulder. The man steps closer towards us, his stiff posture and countenance enough to make me uneasy myself. Miss Goodwill, may I present Captain Guy Blake? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just the name. I was surprised by the guy. I think we're going for the the guy. Sorry. I'm so immature as a suitable enough partner for this dance. Foxley, this is not... Oh, come on now, guy. You cannot be upset by the part, can you? Captain Blake turned his gaze away uneasily. It is not the question. I need voices. I am so bad at voices. Why? It is not the question of that. And, of course, Faye will have no upset in taking such a fine officer. Without saying one word more, the two of them moved to the dance floor. If you would care to, Miss Goodwill, I will reserve this dance for you. His words and manner both unsettled, his gaze shifting away momentarily to check on Colonel Foxley. Fuck that, let's dance. I would very much enjoy that, thank you, Captain. He seems almost surprised by my acceptance before giving a genuine smile. He offers his hand, and I slip my hand around it as he leads me towards the floor. As we stand together, shoulder to shoulder, ready for the music, I notice the tension straining his posture. You do not dance often, Captain? He glances at me as we step into the dance. It is not a familiar pastime, I confess. I cannot help but smile at his uncertainty as we pass the other partners. I would not have guessed he did not dance often. His steps, though stiff, are precise and performed with a strange, efficient kind of elegance. We split apart to perform a small jig before moving back together. You are a very proficient dancer, Miss Goodwill. I believe he's trying to pay me a compliment. I want to be bold, but I don't want to be bold at the same time. Save's coming. I did not expect such nervousness from a military officer, Captain. Okay, he didn't like that. No need to be so formal. It's hard not to smile at the obvious nervousness from the man. Please, Captain, there is no need to be so formal. His brows raise in surprise at my words, and he gives me a genuine smile in return, his shoulders relaxing somewhat. I apologize, Miss Goodwill. None needed. Now let's enjoy the dance. When the dance is over, the captain leaves me to the side of the room, where it is a little quieter. As we stand together, I notice a slight disdain on his face as he looks over the crowd. Are you looking for someone particularly dislikable? He's obviously surprised by my question as he turns his attention to me. You must be used to such crowds. His lip curls into a half sneer. I shall never grow used to these people. These people? He shifts on the spot. Please excuse my outburst. I'm not accustomed to being in this society. Oh. Unsure of his meaning, and a little hesitant to ask more of it, I simply let the conversation dwindle. But it has been most enjoyable in your company. Please do not take offense. Of course not. Before we can say any more, Arabella and the colonel join us. A refreshing charge to see you take a partner, Guy. It was a most needed distraction. Thank you, Miss Goodwill. I agree. I courtesy at him, and he bows, and they both leave through the crowd to follow their fellow officers. I most regret not bringing a fan, for I suddenly feel quite flushed. Arabella! I cannot help how my body reacts to such a man, Faye. I do not believe any woman could. We laugh quietly before I notice the crowds around us has parted. Oh, it is Lady Thomasina Huntington. Holy shit, the names. The swearing, Nana. The swearing. A proper lady should not use such language. Who is Lady Huntington? Really, Faye, have you no interest in society all these years? Never mind. Before Arabella has any chance to inform me of why the woman approaching us has caused the crowd to tremble like scared mouse, Lady Huntington stops before us. Oh, she looks dangerous. We drop into a short courtesies, though the woman does not return one. Lady Ashburn, this is your good friend, I assume. Yes, Lady Huntington. May I present Miss Faye Goodwill? The woman glances over me with a close glare, and one I can only believe has been mastered over expecting many young... What? When finished, she snaps her fan shut and gives a small nod of satisfaction. "You've been out of good society for so long, Miss Goodwill. You must be thankful your parents let you return. Though she did not speak it as a question, I cannot stifle the urge to make a reply. As much as I wish to speak back to the woman, I know it's not what I should do. Instead, I bow my head and give a sweet smile, one I know she cannot find fault with. "I see you have not completely forgotten the ways of refined company." She takes a step closer, and I struggle to keep my balance against her imposing force. Such acceptance back into society will surely grant you a good match. Even with your... She inspects me closer once again. "Yes, more experience over the other ladies." She drops into the smallest of courtesies. "Good evening to you, Lady Ashburn, Miss Goodwill. I hope you enjoyed the ball." And with those words, and her insult to my age, she sweeps away into the crowds. "Are you quite all right, Faye?" I give a small nod, which does not completely deter Arabella's concerns, but enough to calm her a little. "Lady Huntington is the gatekeeper, which all in society... Oh, I cannot remember voices. Lady Huntington is the gatekeeper to which all in society must please to secure a good future. I was negligent not to warn you of her." No return manners were negligent. Nah, it's Lady Huntington's manners which are at fault. She gives a nod of agreement. "Did the Colonel not ask for the next dance with you, Arabella?" "Oh, I quite almost forgot." "Almost forgot. Well, I could never altogether forget any invitation from that man." I shake my head slightly at her words. "But what of you? Go and enjoy the company of your officer, Arabella." She doesn't need much more convincing than that before giving a broad smile and setting off to find her uniformed partner. As the partners begin to move to the dance floor, I shuffle to one side out of the way, only to bang right into someone beside me. "Oh, I apologize." I glance up quite a way to meet eyes with a tall, well-held gentleman. Goodness gracious voices. "I believe I should be the one to make such an apology, miss." He glances to the side and then returns his gaze to me. "How I'll make up such a comedy on my part with a dance?" He offers his hand to watch me. I can assure you I'm not anywhere near as clumsy when on the dance floor. "But we are not yet introduced." "You and I know that fact, but I believe the rest of the room does not." He offers his hand again. "Would you like to take the chance on such a scandal?" His teasing made me hesitate. I'm gonna test out the waters. I push down my uncertainty and place my hand into his. His handsome face For some reason, talking is very difficult. I don't know why. His handsome face brightens into a wide smile as he leads me to the floor, where we stand opposite on each other and await the music. Standing in line with the other women, I cannot help but notice the narrow glares and curious whispers that passed among the crowd, all thrown in the direction of my unknown dance partner. I am much glad you decided to take such a risk. I'd usually not get to dance much anymore. Has that anything to do with the way everyone glances at you? His brows arc, obviously surprised by my bold question. You are quite astute. He takes my hand and I walk beneath his arm before we turn to face each other. I will speak plainly then. We spin around a couple or more before joining together again. I did not introduce myself to you, as I could tell you obviously did not know of me, and it is a rare precious thing to enjoy not being judged before even being acquainted. I am quite capable of making my own opinions. I'm more capable of forming my own opinions, sir. But can you guarantee that your thoughts will never be swayed by popular opinion? I suppose it depends on what was told, and if there was truth behind it, and if there's truth behind it, whatever it is to say. He doesn't answer, instead gives a long smile. The music begins to fade, and we draw together at the end of the dance. He politely leads me to the crowd on the other side of the room and gives a deep bow. It has been a most pleasant time. And all without introductions. I confess, it made it all the sweeter. Please excuse me. With a final nod of his head, he moves away, and I watch as his broad frame disappears into the crowd. Faye, what could have possessed you to dance with him? I spin around in shock at Arabella's outburst. What on earth do you mean? Lord Stanton, of course. Who is... You were not even introduced? I clasp her hand, trying to calm down her hysterics, as I fear she may be faint from shock. You truly danced with such a man without knowing him? I am sure there has been worse things done, Arabella. You would not say such a thing if you knew him. He steals closer and whispers to me. That is Viscount Stanton of Brexbury, Lord Isaac Stanton. She turns to gauge my expression, seeing no sign of recognition, she continues. His family's name was once well respected until his father took an affair with a local gambling house, and it would appear that passion runs in the family. There's apparently no fortune left. His presence of these events is purely due to his lineage, nothing more. You should be careful in the future of associating with such company. Oh, God, I glanced into the crowd where the man had disappeared, suddenly more understanding of our conversation during the dance a little more. A few hours later, the crowds begin to disperse. I am more than happy to return home, and to the comfort of my bed, my body and mind fatigued from the evening. The next morning I find Arabella in the drawing-room after breakfast, eagerly tearing open a pile of letters. So many letters already. I give a small laugh as I take a seat opposite of her. She glances up, a serious expression on her features. This is no laughing matter, Faye. These are invites. It is today we make our most important decision for the season. And what would that be? Whose company we will be spending the season with, of course. It would be impossible to split our time between everyone in town. So we must decide who will receive our interests. I see. She gives a bright smile and leans close to me, placing her hands on my knees. Seeing as it is your first year back, why do you not choose the engagement? Are you certain? I would have it no other way. She leans back and spreads out 2 letters in front of me. Each invite is elegantly written, well presented. Arabella points to the first one. This is an invite to an afternoon tea party later today. Though I believe Lord Stanton will be in attendance at this one, so it may be wiser to avoid it. The worry on her face disappears in favor of a grin as she gestures to the next letter. This letter is to a dinner party this evening hosted by Lady Huntington in order of the military being in town. Colonel Foxley will be there with that captain friend of his. Captain Blake. Yes, him. She gives a nod and then spreads the letters a little further apart. So which would you like to attend? I think I want to go for Captain Blake, actually. Yeah, I do. I do like I don't know. I don't even know what his type is, to be honest. Like, the first one, I didn't really get much out of him, other than that, I can't even remember his name. Oh boy. The first one seems just a little bland. Maybe it's because I didn't really get to know him that much. At least I got a little more out of Captain Blake. Guy. I'm going for the guy. I cannot resist that. I cannot resist saying that. I am going for the guy. I'm going for that guy. I'm going for that guy. I'm the worst. Yes, we're going Captain Blake. So now that's decided, I think I will end the episode here. I hope to see you in the next one. This is fun so far. I hope you don't hate the awful accents too much. I'm having a little too much fun with sounding posh. Oh, actually, I'm not even sounding posh, I just sound weird. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one.